Welcome back to Robin's Walk. It's been a weekend of sackings in the Championship, so it's got us all a little bit worried here. We've already seen Struber's name mentioned in one of those lists, and it's not the Norwich one. Don't worry. Chris Hall says it's got to be the most likeable City manager ever. I just love the man, but just how safe is Struber over this international break? Hope you're all doing well. We've got Liam, Sam, and Ben here to look back at the two games we've had since Blackburn and, of course, Watford. What went wrong for both. We're also talking about Viner being back to his best, his favourite position, of course, and why is Reece stinking the place out at the moment? Is Armstrong actually a better option? We're also talking about the Fair Play League, and we're carrying on with our A to Z of Bristol City. This week, the letter F is the group's consideration. But I hope you're all doing well. We've got to start with the news coming out of Norwich, Liam, this week. I'm sure it put a little smile on your face. Any sympathies?
None whatsoever.
Good, okay.
Only for the Norwich fans. Only for the Norwich fans. But other than that, no. I think it just goes to show grass isn't green. He jumped at the first chance. I got no sympathy for him.
Yeah, and you've
even
got nice.
Even his brother giving it the big in on Twitter. He is getting some right pelters now as well. So that's good to see.
Okay, yeah, nice bit of compensation in the back pocket there, Sam, isn't it? Let's five that one. Right, now there are three managerial vacancies at the moment: Middlesbrough, Southampton, and Norwich. Of course, now we've heard some Middlesbrough fans, Sam, already saying, "Why don't we look at the guy at Bristol City?" It's unlikely to happen, but it's not impossible, is it? There could be an approach.
No, especially when you look at what their manager's just done. You know, we've got to keep Struber. I love his personality, everything about him, the way he's playing at the moment with a limited squad. We have to keep Struber. But then, like you said, nothing's impossible in football.
Yeah, I suppose that the acid test of that is this one. As Joey says, we would have gone to Watford under Manning. We'd have gone there with 10 defenders sat back. So fair play after 2 defeats on the bounce to start with 2 strikers is a bold decision from the manager. Ben, do you agree that this manager isn't afraid to go and try things?
Yeah, for sure. There's no chance that under Manning would have started Armstrong and Mourinho up top together in a game like that. So, and I think it kind of worked. So, yeah, fair play to Struber. I think he's so important for us, and I think with the squad we've got and like with the way that he's like set them up to play, he's so important for us. And yeah, it's good to have our coaches maybe a little bit more bold and a bit more attacking.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep going about injuries. And if you weren't listening to on Sky, you'd probably were at Watford, weren't you? But the amount of time Sky went on about injuries, it wound the Watford fans up somewhat chronic. City Recluse says it's a real improvement, Liam, considering where we are with injuries and their great home form. We battled, hassled, and stifled them pretty well. Time for a well-earned break. Yeah, what was the difference between Blackburn and Watford for you?
Effort. There was a massive difference in effort. I think Blackburn. It was tough to put down what went wrong. I just don't think the players looked up for it at all. Maybe it came too quick from the weekend's game before. Going back to Watford, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't particularly confident what was going to go on at Watford. I thought we were going to get absolutely humiliated. So to see Struber go with the lineup that he did, especially it was very interesting to see Twine and Mehmeti in a midfield 3. It was quite a flat 3 in midfield. I didn't think it would work, but out of the two, I think Twine had the better game. Which weirdly, it was a weird thing considering he's not one to put himself about with tackles and things like that. So yeah, I thought, but it's a huge contrast between what happened at Watford and then home to Blackburn. We didn't create anything against Blackburn really, and in Watford, I think yes, they had their chances. But I think we had the better clear-cut chances. We had the one-on-one with Sinks. A lot of their chances were headers from corners or pot shots from 20 yards out. Weren't really troubling VTech massively. We could have gone there and come back with 3 points. If Sinks could score, he'd be a half-decent player. That's the thing. But the weird thing is, I think if Miulu was in that chance, Miulu would have put that away. But then he wouldn't have had the pace to get in that position. So if we could find a way to combine the two, I think we'd have a £30 million striker, but unfortunately, football doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Just finishing off the Struber bit, Liam, he doesn't go anywhere, does he? I mean, I think he's happy here. He seems like he's got a project.
You can see in his interviews and the way he talks about the players, and he's alluded in the past it's the best group of players he's been working with. I think he's actually said that. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And I think it'd take a hell of something massive to prize him away from us. I think he's got a real rapport with the fans already, even after this short amount of time. And I think there's loyalty there, which isn't said a lot in football these days. But I think he could be quite loyal to what's going on. So yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about, and he ain't going to leave us for someone like Middlesbrough. Yeah, I can't see it.
Words, that is famous.
No, I can't. I just can't see it. I can't see it happening.
Okay.
Looking at Middlesbrough, and the other thing I think goes in our favour. You look at Middlesbrough's last two appointments. They have Michael Carrick and Rob Edwards, both young, up and coming managers in the game. I can't see them trying to jump to a 54, 55-year-old or however old Struber is.
Yeah.
I can't see them going that way with everything that they've aligned to in the past couple of appointments within their coaching staff. So I think that goes in our favour as well.
Yeah. Steve Gibson doesn't poach managers either. He's never pays compensation. He always goes for people out of work, as Middlesbrough pointed out. So I think we may be okay. Let's focus on the players then for a second, Sam. So I thought Scott Twine was very impressive. Myself watching on Friday, ran his socks off. Somebody who didn't impress is Emil Rees. Alex says, good result, lads. Unpopular opinion here, but Armstrong is our best striker. He offers so much more than Rees, or not that way, this way. George says, I would have left Fally on. Rees looked honking. Yeah. Did he?
Yeah, to be fair, I had this discussion with my son the other day, and I don't know whether he's carrying an injury or something, but he just don't look the player he did at the start of the season. He's not all that, to be fair. I know he's scoring goals for us, but it's just his all-round game doesn't look great for myself.
He was renowned, Sam, at times for Preston having a bit of an attitude problem. Are you starting to see any signs of that?
You can see that, actually, in his style of play. Like, when he ain't getting the right balls in, he does seem to, like, throw his arms about, have a little bit of a moan. But, yeah, for me, he's not setting the world alight at the moment.
Do you agree, Ben?
Yeah, I think so. I think he must be, surely he's carrying an injury. I don't understand how he's gone from, being a real, he was running in behind and, he seemed to have a real threat, with his movement and stuff at the start of the year. But then coming on against Watford, he just, he looked shattered after, one little jog. And, yeah, I say overall right now, I'd rather have Armstrong starting up top.
Wow, who'd have thought we'd be saying that? Right, should we talk about Zach Viner for a second then, Liam? Sally says Vita, man of the match, player of the match for saves, but Twine covered every blade. Looks much sharper and happier. Zach Viner was also very good back in central defence. And I've gone the wrong way again. Zach had an awesome game back in his proper position. Yeah. Better from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been solid enough. He's done a good job in central midfield, but I think we could see we need him back there. He definitely, for me, I said it in the past couple of weeks. He gives us that bit of cover with Dickie as well, because there's a lot of mistakes creeping into his game for me. And with Zach back there with that bit of pace, even Tanner has a moment of madness sometimes. So I think with Zach being back there, I think it gives us an extra bit of cover when it comes to pace. And he does read the game very well. And I thought he had a good game. It was nice to see him, although he's not great on the left-hand side. I thought he marshalled things pretty well on Friday night. And it's good to see him back there. And I think he needs to stay there for us to be. It'll be easier when players come back from injury. We keep going on about this injured list. Unfortunately, you have to play with what we've got. And at the moment, if we can find a way to keep Zach in that back three, that's the way to go for me personally. I thought he was back to his best on Friday night.
Okay. What about these injuries then, Sam? Who do we expect to have back when we return from the international break for the for the game against Swansea, of course.
Yeah, I think the list is like unbearable at the moment. I mean, hopefully Sykesy will be back, but I think the rest of them we're looking at like a long time before we see a lot of them playing. But I think like with Viner, when we've been playing him in midfield, I'd like to see him like back at centre back. It's where he plays his best football. And give some of the young academy players, like the young Louis Derrick, who's just signed a new three-year contract. I'd love to see him given a run out in centre midfield for us because he's doing really well for the young side.
Ben, we mentioned Swansea there briefly. We know how much you hate Cardiff and those games are spicy. Just explain to myself as a neutral, where does Swansea fit in your catalogue of dislike, and is it the same nastiness when Cardiff?
It's definitely up there. Probably not as much as Cardiff, but in many ways, there's something about whenever Swansea come, their fans always cause more aggro. I think their fans, are more of a pain personally, and they're more annoying than the Cardiff fans. I remember there's been some trouble over the years. I know that, and considering Cardiff aren't in our league now, it's probably the big home derby of the year. So yeah, it's a big game.
Okay, they might have a new manager, of course, Lee, and there might be another one. They're about to sack Alan Sheehan. So yeah, I mean, how do you see that one going? Is it? I mean, given that you've now lost at home to Oxford and to Blackburn and to others, we need to get this home form back on track.
Yeah, I think we need to turn. I think the biggest thing for me, I know we're good on the transition and stuff, but I'd like to see us control our home games more often. We're still letting the opposition come in. We're almost playing like an away team at home, and for me, that doesn't. I know we love the way we play under Struber and stuff, but for me, as a home fan, I want to see us control our home game. I don't want to see us always sitting back, hitting on the counter. That's the way you play away from home. But it'll be an interesting game because if they do sack this Sheehan geezer they've got in charge, there's ultimately 9 times out of 10 you have a new manager bounce. So it could go in our favour where they have an interim manager where there's no bounce, or if they appoint someone quickly, they've got someone else ready to come in. Will there be a bounce? So, and they've got a couple of weeks to make these decisions. So it won't be an easy game. It'll be a tough game. It'll be a tough game for them as well as it is us. But ultimately, our home games, we have to turn that form. Last year, we were unbeatable at home. We were brilliant at home, poor away, and it's flipped on its head completely this season. So we need to find some sort of middle ground here somewhere, and it's down to for everything good Struber does, he has to find a way to win at home more often than not. Unfortunately, at the moment, those 3 games we've lost at home have been really poor performances as well. So yeah, we have to do something about that for me.
I'm sure the faithful will take a loss to Swansea at home, will it? Will certainly go down very well. We'll be, of course, reviewing that back here in a couple of weeks. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's already subbed and has commented on the channel. I mean, there's loads of great Bristol City podcasts and TikToks, of course, as well. So really grateful. If you haven't yet subscribed, we're massively thankful for you to just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're trying to get to 200 over this international break. That'll be absolutely massive for us as well, especially if you're a Bristol City fan who thinks there should be more Bristol City content out there, and yeah, who can blame you for thinking that? So yeah, it'd be amazing. Right, Fair Play League, Sam. Where do we think Bristol City currently sit in the Fair Play League?
Yeah, we should be about mid-table in that, to be fair, I reckon. We do. The main bookers we get is Twine running his mouth off at the referee.
This is it, yeah. He's the poshest man I've ever met who's gobby. Right, let's have a look then. Amazingly, you are the 3rd nicest team to play against. No red cards, only 22 yellows, which is the 3rd best, behind... sorry, 4th best behind Oxford and Ipswich. You are... you're really... You're not at all dirty.
We need to change that then and start getting a bit nastier in the challenges.
Does that surprise you, Ben, that you are a bit soft?
To be fair, I kind of thought it was coming. I don't remember really any. I can't even remember any bad challenges when they've all played, which I suppose is kind of a good thing. But then it's also nice to have a bit of aggression, and we could definitely do with that. yeah, we have got. You look at our team and you think there's a lot of nice players in that team. Like, apart from Joe Williams, if we had him back, then we would definitely not be there in the table. But yeah, like, I'm not really surprised with our squad.
Yeah, let us know what you think about that in the comments. Yeah, I didn't expect that. I thought Struber might set you up a little bit hard in the tackle, but yeah, Bristol City soft in the centre this year. We're doing the A to Z of Bristol City as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. We're up to the letter F this week, so thank you for all your comments on D and E in recent weeks. Let's see what the lads have got. Listen, Liam, you can't put yourself in here, I'm afraid, but have you got? Although, given the amount of money you spend and all the time you spend travelling the country, maybe you should. Where would you go for F?
It's one or two for me. It's either going to be Aidan Flint or Luke Freeman from the time I've seen. I think Flint pips it for the 15 goals he got in League One that year when we got promoted in the double season. I thought he was absolutely instrumental. So yeah, for me, it'd be Aidan Flint. He was a good old-fashioned centre-back, head everything, kick everything. Anyone got his way, kick them too. Maybe we could do with a bit of that at the moment.
It sounds like
being too nice.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, I think Aidan Flint just pips Freeman for me. That'd be my pick.
Ben?
I had two as well. I had Frank Fielding, I think, just for longevity, and I also had Aidan Flint personally. He was kind of my idol growing up. Not like a massive idol, but like, he was my idol growing up, and yeah, I think he's just a monster for us.
Well, Sam?
Yeah, I'm with the lads. You know, the one who told Swindon, no, Aidan Flint. Aidan Flint's the one.
I think we have a winner then. Aidan Flynn gets in the A to Z of Bristol City. Right, let us know if you've missed any, of course, any obvious ones. And we'll do G next week when we see you. Thank you very much, you three. Thank you, though, of course, much for watching. Do drop us a quick subscribe to get us to 200. That'd be massive. And we'll see you when Swansea have visited Ashton Gate in a couple of weeks. Have a good rest.